Welcome everybody to this week's KubeVirt community meeting. It is the 10th of September, not December. September. I hope you're all having a fine day this week. We are pretty light on the schedule. Let me post this into chat. Thumbs up for a fine day. If you haven't already, if you could please add your name to the attendees. We will start as we normally do. If anyone here would like to take just a brief moment to introduce themselves. Fair enough. Well, let's have a quick look at the schedule. So we have passed the vet freeze and alpha. We've got, what, 2 weeks? No, 3 weeks. 2 weeks until beta. And code freeze is on the 29th of October. If before about 30 minutes ago, you were like, oh, I wish these milestones were on a calendar like in previous versions, then rest assured that that has been fixed. It will now appear on the KubeVirt calendar, tracking the alpha, beta, code freeze, RC1, and GA. If there's any other useful milestones that you'd like to see there, just let me know and I'll add them. I've lost myself. Okay, any questions about the schedule? Very good. The events, there are no upcoming CFPs that I'm aware of. If that's incorrect and you're aware of one, let me know. I'll put it here and we can promote and try and get some KubeVirt people there. Speaking of getting KubeVirt people somewhere, on October 16th, hopefully you're all aware that we've got KubeVirt Summit. So this is a one-day virtual event. 4 hours of KubeVirt talks. This link will take you to the schedule. It'll also take you to the registration page. Harshit, if you go to the top of the agenda, you'll see all you have to do is join our Google Group mailing list, and then you'll have access to edit all of our documents. We've also got, nice one. We've also got KubeCon, Cloud Native Con North America 2026, coming up in November. And we've got a bunch of talks there as well as a project booth. Still no map. And I'm not sure what else there is to say about that. If you are going there and we haven't already talked about it, please let me know because we'll need help with people at the project booth. It's afternoon sessions across the 3 days. It's also a good idea to know who's there in case we get questions about various things that we can then direct to the people who are there in person for conversations. Alrighty. Let's jump back to here. Nothing on the agenda. If you do have anything that you'd like to add, now's the time, and you can add it throughout the meeting if you get struck by inspiration. So one thing that mentioned on the schedule is the VEP deadline has passed. It was a less successful iteration than our previous one, and we're trying to discern why that is. And as such, we want to do a VEP retrospective. Vladik, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because you've collected some feedback already. And some of that feedback was about time zones. And so I was wondering if people have any thoughts or direction with regards to time zone, but also day.
I guess one idea that has been floated around is to have more time dedicated to discussions about VEPs. And then if we do that, then I mean it should be convenient for people from different time zones to attend and have a like, meaningful discussion. Sorry about my dog. So yeah, so let's try to schedule something for next week, so everybody will be able to attend, and then yeah, we'll take it from there.
On a Wednesday, should we use the Tuesday occasional meeting, which next week won't have the confidential computing. That can be a bit late for Eastern time zones. Would be better to have something around an hour earlier than this meeting.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Around earlier than this meeting.
On a Wednesday or a Tuesday or Thursday.
That I don't know.
I'll throw something up there. If I've accidentally put on a public holiday, let me know, and we'll just try and gather as much feedback on the doc as we can. And so for those that can't make it, they can at least have their thoughts heard. All right, that's on me. We've got a bunch of pull requests. Some of these I suspect might be better placed in the SIG compute, but let's have a look into them. I believe this is Daniel. It sure is. Is Daniel here?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry, I didn't find the unmute button because it doesn't work like normally. But yeah, so do you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Great. Yeah, okay, this is just a small update on the check test for flakes lane and the dequarantine lane. So basically to give you a bit of context, what the check test for flakes lane does is it's running change tests like in a repeated matter. What I was my suspicion was that running the test binary repeatedly would have an overhead, especially if you just run very few tests. And since we have cut down on a number of tests that are being rerun on that lane, the overhead of rerunning a binary like a couple of times plays a bigger role now. So my measurements locally, of course, by supported the fact that that if you are not running the binary every time, but just use like the dash dash repeat flag for Ginkgo, this shaves off a significant percent of the overall runtime. In my measurements, this was around 20% and seemed to increase the more runs you would have. So I've measured like around 30% in runtime decrease. Yeah, so and since this change is pretty small, probably this might be a good change to take in. That's just my opinion. I hope that this gives enough context for people to look at this.
Thank you, Daniel. Is anyone able to confirm that they would like to look at this? Got your name down here.
You can tag me.
I think that was a row.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anyone else?
Thanks, Aaron.
All right, I'm getting greedy. All right, thank you. Next one, John.
Yes. So I'm planning on adding an end-to-end test for the secure execution feature. One caveat of this test is it needs to run on a supported cluster, on a bare metal cluster. So it can't run with the regular CI jobs since they use nested virtualization, and it can only run on an S390X cluster. I didn't push it before because we don't have the machine yet, but I will likely get it next week. So that's why I'm now asking for reviews here.
I see that you've got 2 reviews tagged. They're out this week, which might be why it's a little slow. Is there anyone else here who's able to take a look at this week?
I can take a look, but I wonder. So, are we going to add a new CI machine dedicated for secure execution?
I think we can also use it for other tests, but it would be dedicated for running secure execution tests on the cluster itself, and then schedule probably also end-to-end tests in nested virtualization additionally. Since the test doesn't need much resources, it just needs a KubeVirt cluster on bare metal.
Okay. I wonder if did you have the chat with Brian and Daniel perhaps?
I had a bit of a chat with Brian about it already.
Okay, perfect. Then I'm not worried. Thanks. I'll take a look at this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, don't go anywhere because I think you've got the next couple.
Yeah, I got the next 2, and they are basically similar, just for different SIGs. Essentially, we need to replace the Cirrus image with Alpine to run the S390X, to run the end-to-end test on S390X. And the compute one already got reviewed a bit, but is waiting on the looks good to me from the compute. So someone from the compute would need to take a look. And the ZIG storage one hasn't gotten a review yet. But similar structure needs a review from the group actually owning the tests.
I see Lee has pounced on this. Anyone else from SIG Compute who is present and is able to take a look? All right, I guess the responsibility rests heavily on Lee's shoulders. And the third one for SIG storage. Alexander here. Don't believe we have anyone from SIG storage this week. It might be worthwhile pinging Alexander and seeing if he's able to take a look. Or following that, I think Alex.
Yeah, I will take care of it.
Nice one. Thank you. Okay, we have another one here from Rashid. Would you like to speak to this?
Yes. Hey, everyone. When in the Virt API component, when the KubeVirt web service is defined, there are certain just a second. There are certain routes that are certain API resources that are exposed by the KubeVirt API, and they are hard coded. And there was a mismatch between the routes that were exposed by the service and the API resources that were defined for it. So what this PR does is compute the set of API resources based on the routes that were added to the KubeVirt API serves. So this is to fix an existing issue that was opened some time back.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I'll take a look.
Okay, thank you.
The mighty horn of celebration. Thank you. I had a look at the community and user guide repos ahead of this and the mailing list, and there was nothing there that really needed to call attention. There was one actually, but I wanted to get someone from storage, and there's no one here that I can see, unless I'm missing something. So, unless anyone has something they would like to add to the agenda, or if they've got a question or a comment about anything at all, we're up this week. So I'll give 10 seconds for anyone to unmute and jump in the end.
I'll ask a question. I have a dumb question.
Yes.
If that's okay with you. Yes.
Always.
You know how like KubeVirt Summit is coming up? And I'm wondering if we need to upload our slides anywhere by some deadline somewhere, or I've been looking for this because IBM events, you always have to like upload your slides like 3 weeks in advance, and you know it's a big pain in the neck. But if that's not required for us, then I'll just tell my co-author that we're off the hook for that.
So I've got good news and I've got bad news. Also, that's not a dumb question at all. It's a great question. The good news is we're still many weeks away from that, and it's probably something I'll send out an email to the speakers maybe 2 weeks beforehand.
Okay.
Mostly just because it's a lot easier to get slides to attach to the recordings before than afterwards, and it's also a good fail-safe just in case there's any problems with screen sharing. So yeah, I'm not going to ask you to have them done a month ahead. I figure most slide decks don't get done until 20 minutes before the presentation itself. Yeah.
Okay, so sometime around like late September, early October, we should expect to do that.
On the early October side, I would say.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. I'll tell David.
No worries, and thanks for thinking so far ahead.
Oh, we have so many of them these days. I don't know. It's deadlines all over the place. It's driving me nuts. Okay,
The
thanks.
The bad news, Jed, is that I am going to ask for them. It's just not for all.
Okay.
That's the bad news.
Oh, well, that's not so bad. That's medium news.
The
Okay.
expected news.
Right.
I see. It looks like Harshit, you have your hand up.
Yes, I had a question about testing, functional testing. So I've been running the KubeVirt SIG compute tests on a pretty beefy Azure machine, and I'm seeing repeatedly seeing some tests fail intermittently. Those tests pass on a rerun, but there's always some test that fails when the entire test suite is run, even in parallel. So do you see that behavior in the KubeVirt CI as well? And if so, are there any retry mechanisms? I didn't see any in the CI configuration. So I'm wondering how do you not see any test failures in the CI run? And what I'm seeing is probably because of some misconfiguration on my end.
Maybe Daniel can speak to this better, but in general, we have some flaky tests that we flag and then we quarantine them.
Mhm.
And then trying to resolve. So I'm not sure which tests are you seeing being flaky.
Most of
Or
them,
is it sorry, Harsh. Go ahead.
but the most notorious ones are the VTPM related tests, where the VM should restart should successfully restart those VMs that have a VTPM device. I can give you the exact list, but it's mostly VTPM related.
So there was some work that has been recently done that's related to cross-cluster migration. But in general, is it related to migration with VTPM, or is it just starting a VM with VTPM?
Migration.
Migration.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the best people to talk to is Alexander Wells and Jed, perhaps can look into this. But yeah, this work was related to recent cross-cluster migration and then some changes that we've made. So it could be that we unfortunately didn't, resolve all the issues around it. So I wouldn't assume that this is your misconfiguration.
Well, we made recent changes to migration, but not really TPM. So if it's only migration of TPM enabled VMs, then I would probably suspect the storage class that's used. That's probably one that we've never seen, and it's particularly slow or something. I don't know. But yeah, feel free to open an issue with all the logs from the test runs that failed.
Sure. Thanks.
Another great question. All right, does anyone else have anything they'd like to ask while everyone's here or comment on? In which case, we'll wrap up a little early this week. All right, so you'll see an email from me about the VEP retrospective at some point next week. Hopefully you can make it. If not, please provide feedback if you've got some on the document that I'll be linking to. Other than that, thank you everyone for joining us this week. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, an even better weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.